Mitch Marner sign and trade with the Vegas Golden Knights. I think everyone was prepared for this, but we had been, talking about it for months. Where's he going to go? What's the best fit? I will say this: I think it's a great fit for Marner. Like Vegas, they're a very good team. They have high expectations. He'll step in there. I think Eichel's ahead of him clearly on the totem pole, right? Like Eichel will play the role of Matthews effectively, so I think he'll be comfortable with that. You got Mark Stone, who's a great leader. Doesn't sound like Petrangelo's playing anytime soon, so he won't be around. But Theodore's there, Hurdle. Like, there's other big dogs there.
A lot of good players, man.
A lot of good players, a lot of veterans. And what I'm driving at is he doesn't have to go there. Like, if he's going to Chicago, it'd be like, you're the man now. Yeah, you're the guy. You got to drag us somewhere. He doesn't have to do that in Vegas. And he gets, I think, an appropriate contract, gets paid a fair amount of money. And he gets as far away from Toronto as you can basically get.
I would bet that would be a massive thing because I played a long time in Carolina. He's going to go to a grocery store and a gas station and not one word, nothing.
Yeah, it'll be a totally different lifestyle for him.
Yeah, I bet you after 2 or 3 months he'll say that to me is one of the biggest factors. I don't know. There's something about being a celebrity in Toronto where you're like, hey, what's going on? Don't tell me that not everybody gets a kick out of that.
Well, his life will be different.
A lot different, and that's part of the appeal to him, probably, Jamie.
But there'll be pressure within the organization, Noodles.
Of course,
right?
100%.
Like he better pull his weight and help them win.
The business of hockey has not changed. And put it this way: Vegas is in win or lose or win or bust mode as well, and they have been since the minute they stepped into the league. That team made the finals in their first year. They won a Stanley Cup in their 6th year. They're trying to get back there. And they felt they had a really good team last year that came up short. Now, they didn't have their goods against Edmonton, and Edmonton played very well. But that team's really good. And regardless if he's got 8 times 12 or whatever, the pressure's on him to perform. It's just a different type of – the business of hockey is still the same. Everything that comes with it outside of it is going to be a lot different for his life.
I think it's – listen, the lifestyle is big, but I'm not sure the grass is going to be greener on the other side because of a couple of different things. In Toronto, like his experience as a Leaf, he was granted an easing in process, right? Like when the 4 of them arrived, the 3 of them arrived, Matthews, Nylander, and Marner, they were right. It was so celebrated that they were here. The team had been a disaster for a decade prior.
It was hope.
It was hope, and they didn't have to do anything for 3 or 4 years. Nothing. Like, they made the playoffs their first year, and that's all that had to happen. The second year, thanks for going back. Like, once they got through the 3rd or 4th year, then it started to change. The tune started to change. You're not going to get that in Vegas. He's aware of that, but you're not getting an easing in process in Vegas. Right. You better hit the ground running. Also, there was an element of protection from the other guys who came in with him, right? Matthews and Nylander and then Tavares. And the Leafs did a very good job of protecting him. In Vegas, like, you're the big fit. He may be the highest paid player on the – well, he will be. $12 million is the highest paid player on the team immediately.
Yes.
So if you're – again, I'm not talking the fan in Vegas. I'm talking the organization saying there's no – you don't –
Foley.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk to that guy. Mark Stone's won already. You better do it. You got to do it. Mark Stone's won for me. Jack Eichel's won for me. What are you going to do for me? Because Bill Foley, you just mentioned the owner. I just gave you more money than I've ever given anyone in my life.
Yeah,
you better step in and play.
You're not going on the ice with the best goal scorer in the world in every shift anymore. Eichel's a great player.
Yes.
He's one of the best two-way players in the league, but you're going to have to make some things happen out there. That's what I'm curious to see how it's going to play out because he's been so good here for so long. But he hasn't exactly been going out on the ice with a bunch of turkeys. Like he's been going.
He's played with either Matthews or Tavares basically his whole run here for the most part.
It'll probably be either Eichel or Hurdle, which are 2 very good players.
Very good.
The other thing too is keep in mind this is something that I know you guys may scoff at a little bit. The West plays a lot different style than the East. The West is bigger and more physical, and that's the East is skill and people are going to say, well, the Stanley Cup winners are physical. 100%. I'm just saying the Western Conference as a whole, that style is a lot different. And that team, that Vegas team they're big, they're physical. He's going to add skill, but his game might have to adapt a little bit to the way that Vegas likes to play. Bruce Cassidy's going to say, this is how we forecheck. This is what we do. It's a different style. It's a different thought process, the way that they play hockey in Vegas compared to Toronto.
Yep.
It's not right or wrong. It's just different. So he's going to have to – there's going to be an adjustment period, too, where he's going to want to make a play, and they go, oh, well, we do this. Okay.
Well, and that's an interesting connection. Like their coach, Bruce Cassidy, he was the guy in Boston in 18 and in 19, right, when Boston beat the Leafs. But there's also, with Toronto, I think the hope always was that he would stay here his whole career, be a legacy guy, number retired, Legends Row, all that kind of stuff, and eventually win a cup here. Vegas, I don't think they don't have the same loyalty built in. Like the clock starts immediately, and you got to pull your weight. And Mitch will be great during the regular season. That's not up for debate. There's going to be, you got to grant him some time to find his way and all that kind of stuff. Like he's still a human and he's going down there, but he's a great player, and he'll fit in. And he's a guy that's capable of, I think, playing with almost anybody. But you're right; it's a different system, different style, different expectation. Now you're highest paid guy on the team. They have an uber attraction to winning and dedication to that. And he's going somewhere where he's not familiar with it. So
dedication to it is a non-negotiable thing. Like either do it or think about how they have those real time, how things have changed, like time lapses. Like that team, since their inception, first year all went to the finals, and then it's let's change this, and then they won a cup. And they move fast, man.
Here's another one, man. They got the biggest guy. Mitch Marner was number 1 on the free agent frenzy list. They got him. Vegas just never stops. You're right. They just keep moving on and moving on. And, if you're the Leafs, you get Nicolas Roy in return, who's a third or fourth line player, good player.
Third line. Yeah.
Third line. Okay, you think he'll play on the third line? You think he'll play center on the third line?
No,
or he'll play on the wing?
Third line right winger, if you ask me.
Okay.
That's where I think.
Yeah, he can take draws and everything, but he's a good player. He's a good, solid player, big body, and
that's
an effective player. But he's not he's
not.
He's
Mitch
not
Marner,
a needle.
obviously.
No, he's not a needle mover or kind of game changer. He's just a real solid player.
Well, right now on the Leafs depth chart, on the third line right wing, take your pick. They had Nick Robertson. They have a Yarncroke. He's an upgrade over either one of those. Now, Robertson's more of a smaller, tries to goal scorer type of guy or shooter type of thing. Nicolas Roy knows how to play. He's an up and down heavy player who can score. He's got hands and stuff. So I think he's their third line right winger, just based on how the team is constructed right now.
Well,
and again, they're not even. Let's give it 2 months, 2.5 months, because I still think Tree's just getting going here.
And the question will be, again, what they're willing to give up to go for it right now. If you're the Maple Leafs, if you're Brad Treliving, because, again, the cupboards are not overly stocked. You've got Easton Cowan, you've got a couple of other prospects within your system, but you don't have a first-round pick for the next 2 years. How are you acquiring these other guys who could be available? That's what I'm curious about, because it's not David Kampf, Calle Yarncroke, and a 5th-round pick for that second-line player you want. That's not going to happen because, again, this hour, Steven Lorentz has signed a 3-year deal, depth player. But when you look at the roster, they got Matthews, Nylander, Nyes, Tavares. Those 4 are playing. Max Domi, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him. I don't know. I mean, I think he stays, but my mini Jerry's on Max being here opening nights 80%, 85%. It's not 100%. But you got Domi. You picked up this Matias Michelli today from Utah. He's going to play, clearly. And then you got Scott Laughton, Steven Lorentz, Bobby McMahon, and possibly Nick Robertson if they decide to keep him. Again, if you're moving off Yarncroke, if you're moving off David Kampf, Brian Reeves isn't going to play.
Hayes? Is he an RFA or something?
Yeah, he's an RFA. So they got to go back to the dance with him and figure out what you're going to pay him. I mean, those are things they're not going to be concerned about tomorrow, but and then you got your 6 defensemen locked in. You got your 2 goalies locked in. The Leafs, even without Marner, they're still a really good team. Like they're still a good team.